Hey everyone, it's MindInfluencesOutcome, and today we're diving into a topic that's deeply personal and often difficult to discuss. Grief. Everyone experiences and handles loss in their own unique way. In this video, we'll explore the factors that shape our individual responses to grief. By understanding these influences, we can cultivate greater empathy and compassion for ourselves and others. If you're struggling with grief, please reach out to a mental health professional. Our upbringing plays a significant role in shaping our understanding of and responses to emotions, including grief. Think back to your childhood for a moment. How was grief expressed in your family? Were open conversations encouraged, or was it something that was kept private? For some, growing up in an environment where emotions were freely expressed might translate to feeling more comfortable outwardly expressing their grief. On the other hand, if someone grew up in a household where emotions were suppressed, they might internalize their grief. It's important to remember that neither approach is inherently right or wrong. Understanding the influence of our upbringing can help us recognize patterns in our own behavior and offer a sense of self-compassion. Our upbringing doesn't dictate our destiny. We can learn new ways of coping and expressing our emotions. We can seek out therapy, support groups, or other resources to help us navigate grief in a healthier way. Our cultural background is another powerful influence on how we experience and express grief. Just as different cultures have unique customs surrounding celebrations and holidays, they also have distinct ways of mourning and honoring the dead. Some cultures encourage public displays of grief, with wailing, singing, and rituals designed to outwardly express sorrow. In contrast, other cultures emphasize stoicism and reserve in the face of loss. These cultural norms often stem from deeply ingrained beliefs and values. It's essential to approach these differences with sensitivity and respect. Understanding these nuances can help us avoid misinterpreting or judging someone's grief response based on our own cultural biases. It allows us to approach those who are grieving with empathy and understanding. Our past experiences with loss, even those that occurred early in life, can have a profound impact on how we grieve in the present. Each loss we encounter leaves an imprint on us, shaping our perception of death and our coping mechanisms. For some, previous experiences with loss might lead to a heightened sense of vulnerability and fear. On the other hand, previous experiences with loss can foster a sense of resilience and emotional maturity. The nature of the loss itself also plays a significant role. The death of a parent, child, spouse, or close friend can evoke different emotional responses than the loss of a grandparent, distant relative, or pet. Each relationship holds a unique place in our hearts, and the intensity of grief often reflects the depth of the bond we shared. Unresolved grief from past losses can resurface during times of subsequent loss. Just as our personalities influence how we navigate the world around us, they also shape how we process and cope with grief. Our inherent traits, introversion or extroversion, emotional sensitivity, resilience, and optimism, all play a part in our individual grief journeys. Someone who is naturally introverted might prefer to grieve privately, finding solace in solitude and introspection. In contrast, extroverted individuals might seek comfort in the company of others. Those who are naturally emotionally expressive might cry openly and share their feelings freely. Conversely, those who are more emotionally reserved might internalize their grief. Neither approach is right or wrong. They're simply reflections of our individual personalities. It's essential to honor our natural inclinations and allow ourselves to grieve in a way that feels authentic to who we are. Support systems, or the lack thereof, can profoundly impact our ability to cope with loss. The presence of a strong support network, whether it be family, friends, a faith community, or a therapist, can provide a lifeline during times of grief. Having someone to listen without judgment, offer words of comfort, or simply be physically present can make a world of difference. A strong support system can remind us that we're not alone and validate our feelings. For some, reaching out for support comes naturally. Others, however, might struggle to ask for help. It's important to remember that support can take many forms, from practical assistance to emotional support. If you're struggling to cope with loss, please don't hesitate to reach out for support. Understanding the multifaceted nature of grief how it's shaped by our upbringing, culture, experiences, personalities, and support systems, allows us to approach ourselves and others with greater empathy and understanding. Remember, there's no right or wrong way to grieve. Each person's journey is unique, and what helps one person might not help another. The key is to allow ourselves and others the space to grieve in a way that feels authentic and healing. Let's create a culture of compassion and support, where those who are grieving feel seen, heard, and understood.